stand here tonight breathing a big sigh of relief. Thank you, Iowa. I will keep fighting for you. I will always work to achieve the America that I believe in, where the promise of that dream that we hold out to our children and our grandchildren never fades, but inspires generations to come. Join me. Let's go win the nomination. Thank you all, and God bless you.
As I think about what happened tonight, I think the people of Iowa have sent a very profound message to the political establishment, to the economic establishment, and, by the way, to the media establishment. That is, given the enormous crises facing our country, it is just too late for establishment politics and establishment economics.
All right, that was Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders addressing their supporters earlier tonight. At this hour, the Iowa Democratic caucus is still too close to call, with the candidates now in a virtual tie. Joining us now, Fox News contributors Monica Crowley, Doug Schoen. Doug, you know, I watch Bernie Sanders, and what do I see? A guy that's sincere and honest and true to his beliefs. It's coming from his heart. Now, he's wrong on everything, and he's a socialist. And then I watch Hillary Clinton, an angry politician, upset she didn't win. And then she makes this dramatic shift tonight: gay rights, abortion, Obamacare, free college, global warming, and she tries to sound like Bernie Sanders.
Well, all true. Look, the key tonight is she did not lose. It's a tie. Bernie Sanders had a good night, but she was not rebuked.
This is a bad night for her.
Oh,
she lost.
Sean,
Let me help you. She lost.
Sean, I don't need the help, but trust me, by not losing, she is able to maintain her firewall in the South. This is good news for her, a lot better than a lot of people expected when they saw the turnout numbers.
Monica, I disagree with our friend Doug. I think this was a huge loss for Hillary. I don't care how you spin it. They did not think Bernie Sanders would take Iowa.
Correct. I mean, look, this fact that Bernie Sanders was able to fight Hillary Clinton to a tie, to a statistical draw in the state of Iowa is an astonishing achievement for Bernie Sanders. After all, he's a 74-year-old disheveled socialist, and he basically tied it with the prohibitive favorite. Remember, Sean, 12 months ago, Hillary Clinton was leading Bernie Sanders by a whopping 50 points, and tonight is too close to call. She will go into New Hampshire a very wounded and bloodied candidate. He is going to clobber her. Yes, he's going to clobber her in the state of New Hampshire. Right. So, you know, the point is that they had to wound her at the polls, weaken her going into the South, and then, you know, with the FBI investigation hanging over her head, they could go in for the coup de grace.
All right, let's go to the Republican side. Doug, let's get your take. Sure. Ted Cruz worked the hardest, had the best organization, did the full Grassley, 99 counties, and shook every hand, played retail politics. Hard work pays off for him. Now, analysis. Does he take that momentum into New Hampshire?
I think he will. There's a couple of buts. First, will Donald Trump be able to maintain the level of support he's had? I'm not sure he will. And second, the big question is, will Marco Rubio be able to consolidate the so-called establishment Republican support that's been divided 3 or 4 ways and become a real alternative to either Cruz or Trump, more likely Cruz? That, to me, is the big question.
You know, but Monica, as I stated at the beginning of the show, over 60% of the vote in Iowa, which, by the way, reflected the polls that show the Republicans feel betrayed by Washington Republicans, over 60% of that vote went to insurgency candidates. So I'm, you know, to me, if that model continues, even if the establishment coalesces around Marco, does that work?
Well, there's a huge lesson coming out of Iowa. Sean, you hit the nail on the head. A little over 60% went for anti-establishment candidates. That is Cruz, Trump, and Ben Carson, who got almost 10%. And there, I think he was a drag on Ted Cruz, whereas Marco Rubio, perhaps in the strong third-place finish, was perhaps a drag on Donald Trump. Look, New Hampshire is a much more favorable state for Donald Trump. So I don't think the game is over quite yet. But this win for Ted Cruz Cruz was huge. It was well-deserved. It was well-earned. He established a traditional and very effective ground game infrastructure organization, and it paid off. But I think there's something bigger going on here, Sean, and it gets to your question. I think the big lesson tonight is that the establishment, frankly on both sides, is losing power and control. Ted Cruz stood up to them, and in particular, the all-powerful ethanol lobby in Iowa, and he won. That's a lesson for Ted Cruz to carry forth, Donald Trump to carry forth, and anybody else who really wants to continue to be viable in this race.
And Doug, if I'm going to look down the line here, I think we're going to have a general election where America's going to have a very clear choice. It's going to be a conservative versus a radical left socialist or one that wants to be one. So this is going to be a choice election, probably the likes of which we've not seen maybe since 1980.
Well, that is certainly the case. I would say from Hillary Clinton and the Clinton camp's point of view, they would much prefer to run against Ted Cruz than Donald Trump. So this was, in that sense, good news also for the Clintons.
You know what's interesting, too, Sean, when I was listening in particular to Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, and I think Ted Cruz also, they said, well, we're going to defeat the Democrats, whether the Democrats nominate Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, or whomever. And I think that is a very important point to make, because there is this huge sword of Damocles hanging over Hillary Clinton with the FBI scandal. Bernie Sanders, you know, even though he pulled out this fantastic success tonight, I don't think he can win a general election. So I think the jury is still out on the Democrats. The ultimate nominee may be neither of these two.
I think you're probably right. All right, we got a lot more to come. The amazing things, we're only a week away from New Hampshire. It now moves very, very quickly. Thank you both for being with us.